wealth, knowledge of self. If you ain't on that, won't nothing else help. Life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. You ain't with that, you probably living like savages. Health, wealth, knowledge of self. If you ain't on that, won't nothing else help. Life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. You ain't with that, you probably living like savages. When the mind's right, it shines like from the highest.
What up, good people? Welcome to episode 146 of the Project Rook podcast. This, my friends, is your holistic and common sense pursuit of health and wellness. You know how we get down, and if you don't, we talking all things health, all things wealth, and all things knowledge of self. Do you know who you are? Do you know how to navigate this physical realm? Do you know how to keep your health on point? Keep your mind no matter what's going on outside of you. Because how you gonna win if you ain't right within? I'm your host, Rook the Great. And if you're wondering who the hell told me I'm great, I'm wondering who the hell told you that you were not. And why you keep accepting that? Why won't you penetrate the soil, which is the mind, and plant a new seed, that it is me? How could it be possible that you believe that you came from a greater source, a higher source, an all-knowing, all-powerful creator? Whatever you believe that to be, you don't care. How could you believe that and not believe that you have to have the same attributes? You have to have the same characteristics. It's like believing that you could plant an apple seed and harvest an orange. It don't work like that. So what's going on, good people? What's going on? How you feeling? How you moving? How you grooving? 2022, it's got a nice little ring to it. I'm biased though. I told you 22 is my favorite number. But either way, it's all good. Where your mind? Where's your attention? Are you frustrated? These are things you got to ask yourself. You got to increase your self-talk. You got to have conversations. You got to be checking in with you. You, your own hype man and woman. You are your own counselor. You are your own therapist. Start having conversations. Yo, why you acting like that? Damn, why we feeling like this right now? Oh, this is good. This is working out. Okay, well, it wasn't what I expected, but everything always eventually works out for me, so I ain't tripping. You have to speak to yourself the way you would speak to your child, or so I hope. That's how this works. But what I want us to talk about today is the trap of the intellectual mind. It's a trap. Now, what is the intellectual mind? That's our thinking mind. This is the physical mind. Okay? This is the analytical mind. This is the mind that helps us learn things. So we need it. It plays a role. Don't get it twisted. But it can be a trap. And it often is. Especially when you go through the process of having like a wake-up moment. Say you've been just operating in the matrix. You just go all the way back. You know, you went through school, went through high school. You was in the mix. You never questioned anything. You never thought twice about anything. And then slowly but surely, things start to stand out. Things start not to make sense. Then, of course, social media has helped with that because a lot of things are shared that we have, we're not aware of. So you start digging like, oh, snap. Damn, this a lie too. What? So you start this path of digging in, which is good. So you start researching, you start going down rabbit holes, you start following different folks who share even more information with you. You start analyzing and, watching videos. Boom, boom, boom. Great. Until you get lost in the sauce. Intellectual mind is good only when it is working for you, when you are the master and it is the slave. But the intellectual mind can trip you up. because it'll have you connecting with everything that you read, not remembering that everything that you read is just someone else's account of something. That the ultimate override that every single person has is your own spirit, your own inner wisdom, and your own inner guidance. See, the intellectual mind will have you going, looking at science and pulling their data and what they found to be true and what their studies have done. Now, you would think the intellectual mind would also point you in the direction of, what's the word? Corruption. It should point you to lies, like point blank. We ain't got to get deep with it. This was hidden. This was censored. But often it doesn't. And so we look at the numbers and we look at, well, this is what I've been taught. And this is in alignment with that. And then I start feeling good because guess what? Oh, I'm educated now. And don't get no degree now, because that just take it over the edge. Negroes love degrees. I could talk about it because I got two. I was on my way to go get my PhD. Thank goodness I didn't. Oh my God. Woo. Didn't need no more. Listen, I respect scholarship. I do. I respect those who put in the work to develop the mind and gain knowledge and training, all of that. But you can get lost in the sauce. And a couple of the favorite quotes that I love hearing, especially back in 2020, when information was being dropped and I was sharing information with different folks. Well, I got my so-and-so friend is a doctor. My so-and-so friend is a scientist. And what they were essentially saying was, they are qualified. I need not look any further. I need not question, because if they're qualified, then I just take their word for it. You don't know who qualified them, how they were qualified. Yeah, you understand if a person is trained and they got a degree, but until you dig deep within what it was that they were taught, what was the basis in what they were taught, and where that information came from, what information might have been left behind, then you just a fool following another fool. And the intellectual mind has the ability to trip you up and think you got it all figured out. See, because I know. And we feel good. Don't get me wrong. Like, okay, I know what's going on now. See, and if we got a gift of really conveying things well, and we can just spit knowledge and drop, oh man, oh boy, we can't be stopped. Until we can. See, the intellectual mind will get you fucked up. That's what I'm trying to tell you. It will get you messed up, because although there is a time and a place for it, nothing supersedes the inner spiritual mind, the inner wisdom, the inner guidance. That's when you have to pull away. This is how I know we ain't about this life, because even those, like in the inner circle, what we've been doing for the past few months is breaking down the game. And every webinar that we go through, every presentation, I offer 3 narratives. I say, this is what the mainstream narrative is for this issue. This is what the alternative narrative is. And then this is what the in the know narrative is. And they are different. So we know mainstream, well, we stuck all the way in the physical. We stuck in the physical. We don't know whether we coming or going, whatever we told, whatever. When they say jump, we say how high. If they say, hey, be fearful, we'll put a bag over our head, whatever. Alternative is a better option. Don't get it twisted. It is a better option than the mainstream narrative, certainly. But alternative is still buying into the parts of the mainstream narrative that they like, that they still attach to. They won't release it all. They're going to be able to show you some of the game. They're going to show you where the inconsistencies are. But they ain't going to be able to release it all because they still got an attachment to it. They can't accept that it's all a lie. Then we come to the in the know. Those of us in the know. We see the game for what it is. We know that mind is all. We know that we have a connection to all things. We understand that microorganisms would never and could never be a threat to us because we need that for our survival. We have trillions, according to science, in our body at all times, on our skin, in our mouth, in our nose. So how the hell could these things be a detriment to you? Mom Dukes hit me up, was like, yeah, they had a recall on some lettuce. You think I should eat it? I said, I don't know what you should do. I know I would eat it. I ain't throwing nothing out. Them jokers tell me about no damn recall. Because this is what I know. If you had, and I'm going to be real generous with this. I'm going to flip it. The stats never work this way. It's always the opposite. But I'm going to give them, let's just say there was 1,000 people that had eaten this lettuce. And let's say you had, let's do a big percentage. Let's say you had 60%. It ain't never that high, but 60% of people who ate it got sick. Why didn't the other 40? That destroys that narrative. If a thing causes a thing, then it should cause it every single time. In every single person. In every single scenario. So that tells you, just because you can find the presence of a microorganism does not mean they are the culprit. Because this shit lives in you. E. coli lives in your gut. Salmonella lives in your gut. So why would I care if there's some E. coli on the lettuce? I'm pretty sure it's on a whole lot of other stuff. I rinse my stuff off really quick. Just enough to get the dirt off, give it a little, any little extra stuff that I can wash off, cool. But outside of that, we're chucking it down. Who cares? So when you in the know, you are willing to let go of it all. It's a surrender. I'm no longer attached to the fallacies of the physical world. And that's the difference. Somebody asked me, well, what did you take? Like, because I listed I'll probably share this too. I don't know if it's public or not. I might share a link to it. I have to, let me write that down and I'm thinking about it. But a do-it-yourself herbal medicinal kit, something you can have at home. This is what you keep. This is your go-to. So if something, if you're not feeling well, your children are not feeling well, this is where you go to. You support the body by not suppressing symptoms, but assisting the body in doing what it's already naturally trying to do, which is purge, release, and cleanse. So anyway, question was, well, what's like, do I have a protocol for someone with COVID? No, because I don't even acknowledge COVID, so I can't give you a protocol for something that doesn't exist. I'm not trying to be an ass, but I just can't. If you're not well, yes, I certainly have a protocol for you. So what have you been doing? Nothing. I haven't taken anything that I normally would. I've cleansed the same times that I would normally cleanse. I go through different liver cleanse, parasite cleanse, full body cleanse, blood cleanse. What else have I done? colon cleanse, nerve cleanse, just, working my way through the body like I normally would. Then I'll go through periods of time where I will take a break from that. But I ain't done nothing. What you do to build your immune system? I don't know what you mean. I know what you mean, but I don't know what you mean. Because you want me to prepare for a threat that I don't acknowledge. And I don't know how to do that. I have not bought sanitizer. I got some alcohol spray that I keep in my car. Sometimes, depending on what I'm doing, my hands might get dirty. But it ain't because of no fear of germs. So I haven't bought sanitizer. I haven't cleaned nothing any more than I normally would. I haven't taken any, I'm taking this to, there are immune supporters, absolutely. So there are certainly herbal plants that you can take. But I haven't done any of those things. I don't need to because I don't acknowledge it. So the point that I'm trying to make is you got to figure out where you are. There is no right or wrong. You could still be, I don't think you're listening to me if you're still in the main, believing in, and following the mainstream narrative. But you could be. Or you could still be tap dancing in and out. But you got to figure out where you are. This is what know thyself means. It doesn't mean beat yourself up about it. It doesn't mean judge yourself about it. It's about knowing where you are. Observation. And am I moving with the mainstream narrative, the alternative narrative, or am I in the no? And the no says is all a lie. The no says there's nothing I have to fear other than fear itself. The true virus is of the mind. This is why the intellectual mind is not going to be able to help you going forward. Not navigating the fun we got coming up. It's some fun coming up, let me tell you. Well, I don't know if most people will call it fun, but it damn sure that's what it is. You are not going to be able to see what is happening. You're not going to be able to navigate and not lose your mind and not, get anxious or find yourself experiencing a state of depression. You're not going to be able to do that by staying in the intellectual mind. Because let me tell you, and I still spend many, many hours, for the last 7 years, going through all sorts of stuff, cross-referencing and digging in this and digging in that. And I still love to do it. I think it has its place. There's value there. But oftentimes you can find so much conflicting information. You got to pull back. You got to ask for guidance from something that's beyond this physical. You have to, what does a good book say? God is not the author of confusion. You're not in alignment when you're in a state of confusion. Confusion can be good because it's moving you closer. It's telling you, okay, there's not alignment. It's telling you there's not balance. So it starts to move you closer to the flow so that you are in alignment. But God is not the author of confusion. So we are saying one thing, but we doing another. They got folks ready back in July, and they said, the FDA said, the CDC has announced that they're going to be withdrawing their emergency use authorization for the real-time PCR test. They're advising all the labs to incorporate a test that would be able to differentiate between corona and influenza. And now, January 2022, they've had the first case of flurona. No, this is the real name. It plays out like a Netflix movie. You can't script it anymore. It's hilarious. It's hilarious. The Matrix don't let you out. What was the episode we did a little while back? 1, 2, the Matrix is coming for you. See, it doesn't let you out. You have to let yourself out. And the way out is in. Their game. You think that this, first of all, if you think that they was about, even though the flu pretty much disappeared, and you still got people, see, the alternative narrative is, well, you know, people were being a lot more hygiene conscious. They were staying inside. So, yeah, that's what brought it down. Bruh, stop it. It's not how this works. Stop it. Stop it. Because the same game that was played to even get people even believing in a flu. What were we doing before a flu stabby came out? It was the body's way. It was a code. Now this is what I remember as a kid. You had the flu, you go home. You get some rest, you hydrate, you get some funky old nasty, greasy Campbell's chicken noodle soup, ginger ale, maybe some crackers. You might throw in some Robitussin. You might, that ain't too bad. We weren't really doing a lot of NyQuil then. Robitussin was the thing. And you let it run its course. Now, it's, this game don't end. It continues to roll. It's more fear. It's something else to get folks going. And if you think for 1 second that the Matrix ain't going to use, it's going to throw away something. Because even though the influenza stabby is ineffective, like their numbers are low. I don't even know if it's 40%. It don't matter. That's still a good source. Like you can keep that going. We don't waste opportunity. See, these are things that we can learn. I'm putting up a new YouTube video today. I'm going to be putting up weekly videos on YouTube, and that's what I'm talking about, what you can learn. We always talk about, hey, pointing out the game. You got to be able to see the game in the Matrix, but there are gifts. The Matrix come bearing gifts. You got to be able to see the gifts that are offered, and it's showing you, one, that you can just make up stuff as you go. And I'm not being funny. You make up. You set in motion what you believe to be true. What you want the atmosphere to be, you say this is what it is. You pretend as though it's true. You operate as though it's true. And you await the results. I mean, that's pretty much the flow of how we operate in the physical realm. So they not gonna miss out. Every opportunity, you take advantage of every opportunity. Nothing is wasted. Nothing is lost, no matter what anybody says, ever. Nature should show you that. Nothing is ever wasted. So it'll be interesting. I'm wondering if these people are literally going to have these folks taking these 3 shots and then adding the flu shot on top of that. Woo! May the best system live long and strong. Good God. What will determine where folks are or how they end up is going to be the condition of their body, the condition of, we underestimate how many people are already sick. We were already sick 2019, 2018, 2017. We was already jacked up. You got majority of the population on prescription drugs. So the idea that we were just a healthy population, And so when you start adding in toxins in the body, it will depend on how well your body's eliminative organs are strong enough to break that stuff down and move it out. But more than that, number one, this is what protects folks even who are in poor health, and you see them and you like, man, they still doing all right. I would have thought they would have really gone down by now. The mind. Because mind is all. So that will be the protector for, or should I say the determinant for a lot of people. Some folks getting one jab and they up out of here, bro. So fear cannot be underestimated. You want to talk about you know what? Going back to quote unquote immune booster or boosting your immune system. You know the best way that you can do that? By keeping your stress levels in check. Because as your stress levels rise, what you tell your body is that there is imminent danger and that we need to take attention away from our natural mechanisms of cleansing, repairing, and keeping strong. And we need to prepare for whatever this imminent threat that's coming. That's what you say. So the best way that you could take care of your immune system is feeling good, is laughing. Like that should be a daily practice. You should have some gut-wrenching laughs every day. Best medicine you can have. You don't even feel good, but you want to be good. How does that work? Intellectual mind is a tricky thing, my friends. And at some point, you're going to have to decide which one you're going to hold on to, which one you're going to let lead the way. It will either be your inner man, it will either be your spiritual mind, or it will either be that physical, carnal, intellectual mind, the one that still connects to the physical and says you are separated. It doesn't say, see, the spiritual mind confirms to you that there's a oneness with all things. That bacteria is you and you are that bacteria. So you know it can't be a threat to you. You release, I can't underestimate, no, not underestimate. I can't de-emphasize or overemphasize, overestimate, whatever the word is. How freeing you become when you loose yourself from the chain of medical bullshit. I didn't realize how much of our fears are connected to what we believe makes us sick and what we believe is a threat to us. Everything down to just having sex. Everything is a fear. Ooh, this person might get. Ooh, this person might get. Our encounters with one another. When we expect and look for the same things that quote unquote run in our family. When you release yourself from that and realize that's not how it works, you are responsible for yourself. You do not catch disease, you create it. So the same way that you can create it, you can destroy it. You can uncreate it. You can walk it back. If I build a birdhouse, I could take a hammer and put it right back in the state that it was in. It might be a little bit more crushed, but whatever those wood parts, I bring it down, put it right back. It works the same way. You responsible for yourself. That is why we can't turn away. Thank you. That was good. That was good, Spirit. Thank you for that. Self-responsibility. When you realize that it's on me, the choices that I make, not just physical choices, not just the choices that I'm conscious of. It is where is my attention and where are my thoughts? And if you say, Rook, I hear what you're saying, but it's just hard for me to accept that because I know folks who was down and sick. I hear this argument even when it comes down to HIV. Listen, I know people, they were sick, bro. They went down. They had it. I don't even know what that means, right? Somebody told you that you test positive for something. That's what that means. You had it. You don't know what you got. Because if none of these tests are 100%, then how do you know? No, someone tells you what you have. The mind accepts it. You look for all of the symptoms of what is supposed to come from having this. If the symptoms are not already there, they appear or worsen. You take your hind parts to the same folks who hustled you with the test, and you take their treatment and you let them poison, burn, and cut you to death. And then you say, I know this is real because I've seen what it can do. Have you though? Have you? Is that what it did? Is that what it did? Really? Okay. All right. That's our next webinar in the inner circle this month. Germ theory versus terrain theory. How did this lie get started? How did we get here? See, it's important to look back. One good thing I like about present day is that if you got a little bit of common sense, and that's what we all have, right? This is the wisdom that connects us all. That we do have common sense, or what I like to call common sense. If you reflect back over the last 2 years, right? And you see what has happened, there was a narrative. The narrative was not holding up. There were those, the evidence was in conflict with the narrative. There were those who continued to push the narrative. There were those who spoke against the narrative saying, hey, the data shows this. What happened to those who would not fall in line with the accepted narrative? They were silenced. They were censored. They were mocked, ostracized, demonized, fired. So if you got just a little bit of brain power, just a little bit, that should tell you if this could happen in my lifetime, maybe, I don't know for sure, but maybe this has happened many, many, many times before. Maybe this happened in the 1970s, the 1980s, maybe the 50s, the 40s, maybe the 1800s. Maybe I might need to see what really been going down. Because when you get, now this is one part of using that intellectual mind that I believe helps you just see the play. If you've seen something happen, something is documented happening by the same group of folks, using the same hustle, the same tactics, getting the same results. If there is documented record that this has happened 5, 10, 15, 20 times, that's why I said I don't want no props for knowing how this was going to unfold. It don't make me smart. It was like duh. This is the game. So we use all. That's why you know why this thing is holistic? Because it's the whole. We need all. We don't need just mind. We don't need just body. We don't need just spirit. It's a dance between the three, the Trinity. Cause just spirit. You ever seen folks who they done quote unquote woke up. They done had their awakening and they've gone batshit crazy. I mean, it's over the top. Like they don't enjoy nothing in life. They just miserable. I'm trapped on this planet because these people trying to keep us from, and they trying to like, bruh, damn, pipe down. You still missing it. Because let me share something with you. If you were that spiritually high, you just come right up out that body. You wouldn't even be on earth anymore. So there is a reason that you are still here. It will be wise to use all of the components. Not just try to, unless you plan on going on a mountain, just going off the grid and just living, on your own land and eat your own food. Don't talk to nobody. Don't have no TV, no internet. And that's one way to do it, I guess. But otherwise, you're going to have to figure out how to navigate. And if you have knowledge and you have information, understanding that can only help you when things look the way you want them to look, it can only help you as long as the external conditions are perfect. Everything got to be lined up just right. And then you be killing it. Like, okay, yeah. If your faith, knowledge, and understanding only works that way under the best ideal conditions, you need to throw that shit in the trash. Because you ain't going to make it. You ain't going to make it. I'm just here to tell you, life got a thrashing for you, baby. What's the point anyway? What's the point of me having faith when things are going well? What's the point of me having faith and belief when I'm feeling good, my body's feeling good, but the moment I start to feel sick, I go into panic and I lose my mind? What the hell was the point of that? You might as well go and live like the people you call heathens, the people you say are sleepwalking, the people you call sheep. You might as well at least they appear to some degree. Some of them having fun, just being reckless as hell. What do you gain? A faith untested, baby, is a faith that can't be trusted. And I say, a mind untested is a mind that can't be trusted. You got it all figured out. It's no different than relationships. Everybody can love when the conditions are favorable. Yes, you can love your children. Yes, you can love your significant other when they doing what you want them to do. When they act in the way you want them to act. When the money is good. When the house is good. But let some chaos come through. What you got then? You still standing on those same things? No, because we fake and we phony. And that's what I love about hard times. And that's what I love about challenges, because it exposes all of it. Brings it to the surface. You can run, but you can't hide from yourself. And the intellectual mind, if you keep holding on to that and riding that, letting that lead the way, well, all I'm going to say is check back in with me. Let me know how I go. I don't think it's going to go the way you think. At some point, the cards come crashing down. The walls come crumbling down. And the world in the way that you thought you knew it, it all comes crashing down. Now, how much collateral damage in the process? I don't know. Depends on you. You save yourself. The first way you do that is you got to destroy yourself. You got to destroy the old way of thinking, the old way of doing, the old way of operating. And this is where that self-talk comes in again. What if there's more? Do you ever ask yourself little prompting questions? Maybe there's more. Could it be something that I'm not seeing? Could it be something that I'm not aware of it? Maybe something else is going on. Maybe there's more to this thing. Maybe all this is a lie. You ever ask yourself those questions? I love checking myself. I love talking junk. I'm going to talk my shit because I can back it up. But the moments when I can't, life going to chin check me every time. And I'm going to be like, oh, okay. I see you. Bet. You right. Not quite as badass on that as I thought. All right. We still working. And that's the conversation I have with myself. Back and forth. That ebb and flow. I ain't tripping. Just analyzing, observing, adjusting, improving. Okay? Adapt. Nope. Destroy. Those are the processes that continue to work. I'm not tripping on life. Life is doing what it's always done and what it always will do. It's so funny. I was reading last night and I don't remember the name of the book. but it's can't remember the author neither. I think his first name is Orson Sweet something. Yeah, he got a lot of, oh man. Matter of fact, I'm gonna tell you a good one. He has one, I don't know if it's called Developing an Iron Will, or it may just be Iron Will. Either way, he's wrote several books, right? And he was talking about how unemployment was such a big issue, that people were struggling. It was so difficult to find quality men and women who wanted work, who wanted to be better, who wanted to take pride in what it was they were doing. And I'm just reading and I stopped and I'm like, what year was this written in? And I think it was 1896. And I just laughed. I stopped and laughed. I said, nothing changes. The world is the same. There's nothing new under the sun. So says the good book. It's just cycles. I just was laughing like this is right now. We're talking over 100 years ago. Right now, same thing. People are the same. We are the same. Technology can evolve. Society can improve. We get modern advancements. All those things are cool. But who we are, it remains the same. So the saving grace, the thing that you have to attach to and get in connection with, is your inner man, that inner spirit, that inner guide. This is why clean body opens the door to a focused mind, which opens the door to an aligned spirit. Maybe the spirit is already aligned. I guess your alignment with spirit. This is why we take our health and make it a priority. It's bigger than just avoiding illness. It's bigger than just looking good. Don't get it twisted. We doing all of the above. But it's much deeper. It's much bigger than that. This is why our practice is different. This is why this is holistic. This is why we are not just taking the mind and the body, but the spiritual component is the key that allows us to navigate this realm in a way that other people are not. They could be, but are not. The intellectual mind is a tool. You use it. You don't let it use you. And the moment you feel yourself getting caught up in, well, no, the this and the that, and you have to understand, the philosophical and I can't even think of no stupid big words. But you get what I'm saying? That's how you ride this thing from here on out. Mass consciousness is rising. It has already risen. This is why what sustained your mother and your father and your grandparents and your great grandparents cannot sustain you. There are certainly gifts. There are certainly things that we can lean on and we take with us from those who have come before us. But you weren't here to just be a carbon copy. There would be no reason for you to come to this planet. This is about forward motion. Nothing stands still. It's the resistance to the change. It's the resistance to the forward motion. It's the resistance to the flow that causes us so much agony, so much pain, so much disappointment, so much stagnation. So get out your head. Get into your spirit. Allow that to lead you and guide you. And in the beginning, you might not be able to tell the difference. That's fine. That's where your trust comes in. That's where your belief comes in. Like I'm doing had a conversation with Mom Dukes. And she was having some complaints. She's made a lot of good progress so far, but she's still dipping and diving. It's like you half in, you half out. She's like, yeah, but I don't know if I want to do all this, other stuff. And I'm not seeing certain results. No, you've seen significant results. Now, one area you haven't seen it because you won't go all in. You still half-assing. I ain't tell her that. I'm like, you have to, there is an approach to maintaining your health. There's an approach to restoring your health. And those approaches are different. We fine tune. When you're dealing with illness in the body, we got to take a different strategy. And it's not that certain foods are just bad. There are foods that hinder your body's ability to heal itself. There are foods that slow your body's ability to repair. And then there are foods that accelerate your body's ability. You got to dig into that when you're dealing with some old, tough issues. Anyway, so that's what I was telling her. You got to lock in. I need at minimum 30 days. Ideally, I want 90. And that's just to get your mind right, because this process is lifelong. And if you in it to win it, and you're about results, what does it matter if it takes 3 years? If you've been living like hell for 50, who cares? No, you care, because you just want the quick results. Quick fix is what we after. So she was like, well, I don't know if I'm trying to do all that now. I done did this, and I'm eating salads every day, and I'm having a smoothie every day. Fantastic. But you got to crank it up a notch if these are the results you want. Well, I don't know if I want to do all that. So I said, I bet you if the pastor told you, you would. Crickets. Nah, well, I don't know about all that. No, I'm just saying, let's just call a thing a thing. Because there's a belief that we have that there are some folks who have an authority over us that we're supposed to follow. And if they give us instructions, we fall in line. But to believe that you could get the same message for yourself. Like, how crazy is it that you believe that a God could tell another man or woman what you need to do, but that same God don't tell you? Now, what kind of sense does that make? You don't think that same God, that same spirit, that same power is able to guide you as well? No? Interesting. Even if you've been following this God for pretty much all your life, that you don't, yeah. We're gonna dig into that. Y'all, all of my listeners who've been around for a while, we're gonna dig back into these church folks. Yeah, because the results ain't adding up. Because you know what I'm seeing? I'm seeing sickness up and down the pews. I'm seeing obesity up and down the pews. I'm seeing in the pulpit pill popping, high blood pressure, cholesterol, diabetes. How you laying your hands on somebody else and you ain't even laid them on yourself? Or maybe you ain't able. I don't know. And why you ain't asking no questions? Those who just coming, falling in line. Let me sit on down and listen today. See what the Lord got for me today. Let me see. You don't think that's strange? You don't think that's odd? You don't think it has something to do with your lack of results? No, of course not. Because I blindly follow. I ask no questions. And in that instance, then I believe. I got blind belief when it comes to that. See, we don't want to deal with the truth. We like the hobo stuff. Let's just pretend. Let's just preach to other people and tell them what they should be doing, what they need to be doing. Because I'm a kingdom kid. I'm a child of God. I can't get no results in my life that I want. So I just say it's the devil. I blame Satan. The enemy is after me because I'm special. I'm one of God's chosen. That's why the enemy just be on my back. Or maybe I'm a dumbass. And maybe the answers are right before me, but I won't accept them. I won't receive them. I won't open myself up to them. Maybe You know why I can talk about this? You know why I'm authorized to talk about this? Because I used to be this dumbass. That's why. And that's why I ain't going to let up from it. Because I know what it is when you blindly follow. I know what it is when you get piss poor results and you continue to do the same thing over and over. I know what it is when you lie to yourself and live in denial. But you're too afraid to question because you were taught, no, some things you're not supposed to question. Well, you ain't going to be around in these parts over here if you don't like to question things, if you don't like to challenge your thought, if you don't like to challenge the bull crap that you've been following, then click off. I don't care. But guess what we doing over here? We getting results. So you can call us heathens. You can call us sinners. You can call us whatever makes you feel good. And you can even convince yourself that, yeah, I'm going to live like hell on earth. But I'm going to live. I'm going to go into the golden gates. That's where I'm going to get my reward. Well, whatever you got to tell yourself, baby. Whatever you got to tell yourself. But you know what I know? You know the truth. That's what drives you crazy. That's why people got to stay. You better stay in that church. You better. Because that's your cover up. That puts the Band-Aid on it. Because when you face yourself eye to eye, baby, oh, it gets real. And all of the illusion comes crashing down. Ain't no more hiding. And you got to start asking some hard questions, but more importantly, you got to face the hard answers. And most of us ain't willing to do that. So hide, we continue. I say whatever works. See, certain people I'm not speaking to. If it's working for them, do what you do, baby. If it ain't bothering you, if you're not complaining, if you're not even, the thought doesn't even pass your mind. It doesn't cross your mind at all that what you're doing is complete nonsense, that what you're doing don't make no sense. I ain't talking to them people. Leave them people alone. Stop trying to wake up people that don't want to be. Leave them alone. They fine. But if you can hear me, if you can really hear me, you know exactly what I'm talking about. The truth stands. You don't have to, what's that quote? You don't have to defend the truth. Just let it loose. It'll defend itself. The truth stands. That's what I find great confidence and great peace in. So, intellectual mind will get you fucked up if you ain't careful. Check yourself always. You are your greatest assignment. Check yourself before you open your mouth to speak about what somebody else is doing or not doing. Even your significant other. This is important. Well, if they would do, no, it's you. That's the message. The message of this moment right now is telling you to take all of the lip service that you have for everybody else and put it on yourself. Do that for the next 12 months and let's reconvene next January and see where we at. Mind is all is mind. Don't forget that. That's all I got for you, good people. Until next time.